Hello everyone, welcome back for some more Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney. We're here, it's happening, we are a lawyer. Let us finish off this trial. Maybe? Watch it end up being another one that's like ridiculously long again. Witness, state your name and occupation. Woo! Woo! Oh boy, here we go. Yes, my name is John Garrett, and I'm a juror and such like. It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore.
The court has decided no testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam?
Oh, yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I will warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh, dearie me, I got that alligator jiggling fever. Is he here?
Chin up, Joni, nothing to worry about.
There he is, and he's facing forward. Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
Wasn't only you in that room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you think?
But what about your knee, dear?
Well, don't you worry about that. I hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John! Oh, this is the most heterosexual trial in Ace Attorney history. And there's been a number.
I presume you are Mr. John Garrett?
Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regime of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. That was a tough one.
Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were.
The quiet life? Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question?
Well, yes.
Quite.
I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. Now the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question.
Sir, at once. Alright, let's see what do we got. Tell me what happened so I can break it down. The Battle of Garrett, that's strong. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, he was picking up whatever he could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd notice if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, well, you'll have a job proving it, I think. Okay.
Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive maneuvers. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife.
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticeable. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than that they have testified. This may be a dead end. And Zeke's may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination.
Alright, let's do this. Watch us make them argue so much that they get a divorce. Just in the middle of the courtroom right now.
Yes, on the day referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now.
Can we figure out the reason? The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe? Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garrett. A rather passionate note, in fact. Right. But Miss Garrett found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs.
Hell on earth.
Thank you all for being on my side. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway.
Likely story. These waters run very deep.
But what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
Knocked a candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. Okay. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? A bookcase, my armchair, or anything of mine, really. So happens there was some bathwater around that evening. We bought it from a Miss Delphine. Yeah, she's been selling it on the street corner. What a nice lady that is. How would you talk to all of them, don't you? I've seen yours 2-3 subs. It so happens there was some bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out.
The most precarious situation to put yourself in.
Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street where the water main isn't connected yet. I had to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need it, you see. The lodgers are always moaning they can't get any water at night. Although, the little mustache Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. How quaint. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his own country. Can you imagine being able to brew pot tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. Oh man, I hate when people are like, have you heard about the foreigners? They can do, and then they say something that like anyone can do with a bit of money. It's like, what, do you just want them to be poor? That's weird. That's weird. My family's always like that. They're like, I see people come from overseas and they have fancy cars. I'm like, you literally have a fancy car yourself. They're like, yeah, but I'm not a foreigner. And I'm like, stop, that's not right. Have you actually seen the state of the man? I believe he used all his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
I sure wonder if we have a woman who might say something about that. Yep, that is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo. See, I was gonna say that you would be on the side of that. How did you know I was thinking that? So, please catch your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster.
I'm not gonna say it.
Let me see. Some bread, cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
You have something to say about the napkin, my friend.
Excuse me.
What's up? You have something to add, sir? Uh-huh. Mr. Garrett.
Oh, don't shoot!
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Did we just give him PTSD? Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Did you have a little... My soundboard isn't working. Frick, I was gonna do a light bulb sound.
Nothing of any significance, no. Just the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction. Somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and well, the fire poker I seem to recall.
Ouch.
And the woman's aim is uncanny.
Don't do that. That is
We're not at home now. This is a court of law.
She directed a hit with every wow.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear.
That is not where tea goes. What's she even doing with the teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened,
The pipe, sir?
I had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles. She did, yes? And when we went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see. Your pipe was broken. It would never have been sent flying unless it hit something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
You are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
I wonder what we should make of this account. That's important. The fence believes Mr. Gairdub's remarks now to be of great significance.
Objection!
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed. Common sense, one might say.
Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Oh, well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me! There you are again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Pipe has been added. Apparently fell to the floor during a domestic dispute with the wife and broke it. We're gonna find a shard of the thing in there. Hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. Nope, you didn't. Let me check that thing right now. There's a chip. What did I say? Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. Yes, I saw it. Something's stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. Sorry, I was saying that for the wrong character. Tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. We got it. We got it, baby. I feel like the rest of the pipe's gonna be pretty much nothing. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? For some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me. I was trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Gairdub's dressing gown. I suppose there must have been considerable sentimental value to Mr. Gairdub, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that or he can't afford to replace it. Yo, Lamo, this dude's poor. There's a small nick out of the bowl here, look. It appears to have been made relatively recently. See how there are little scrapes and dents all around it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe. Yeah, you're right. Seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with, well, getting some battle scars. Particular nick is catching my eye, though, because it's clearly new. Now, why would it be in the pipe, I wonder? You know? Yep. This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Gairdub's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't really know. There's just something bothering me. But I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Look, in the age of like AI and voice splicing, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Think I'm crazy? Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other piece of evidence again. Thank you for just clearly saying, hey, you should probably do this. Ching! Got that open. Let's see here. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip. A small piece of blade appears to be missing. Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. Remember this? Oh, that's a tiny fragment of metal that we found inside Mr. Gairdub's pipe. Yeah, and it just may be. Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Somehow I just knew it. Well, cool. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh, no, this is fine. We figured it out thanks to Sawdust-san. We have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it more carefully. We did.
Well, thank you for that. Rebuttal, Mr. Garrett. Now if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if one or two went missing, I'm afraid. Let's see. Sorry, would you care to elaborate? Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see. Pipes and whatnot, fish and tackle, you know, the sort of thing.
It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too. And then there's my leather work.
Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place, and we have dozens of the things.
They sell them at the market sometimes, 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snap them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at meal times too, instead of a knife and fork.
That's strange. Now, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm some kind of savage. Here we go with the scaldings. Why are they being so evasive? I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim. Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir! If that bodily thing in the victim's back was really one of ours, you'll have a job proving it. I mean, we have the answer for that, but we'll just pop this anyways. So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife unless we can produce proof. Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent. You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. As if I could forget. Only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is a dream. A wizard dream. Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo. What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists? Well, whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin, or so they say. But I can't see anything. There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice.
Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garredep's house. If only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future! That's the extent of their testimony, is it? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony. But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident. Yeah, I know. I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury. If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything. Yes, it would. But for Saseki-san's sake, we must. We must find that last crucial piece of evidence. We did! We just have to go to it.
No one knows what I'm talking about.
Alright, so now we're gonna present. We're gonna throw this. Haha. You know when the music stops, you're on the right track. Mr. Garredeb, I'd ask you to take a good look at this, please.
You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing.
You can't?
They used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Have you considered you just have dyslexia, bro?
Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing, being asked about every other letter and every other word.
You must D very dussy. That's such a simple joke, but it's really funny. What is that, a tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to just be a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road?
I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of the case, my lord. I still don't know where I am.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well, then, present the pertinent piece of evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
That's the knife. This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals use them regularly to leave tips lodged in their victims' bones.
But what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere in the spine of the victim. No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. Oh, he went for the heart. That's good.
Good grief! What, Van Zeeks?
I don't believe it. Oh, he's so chuny. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
Good golly gosh!
Oh, she's on a little... I didn't notice she's on a little box.
Order. Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery?
Grandpa, not every anime is sorcery. Come on. This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle? But the miracle never happened!
So Van Zeeks has figured it out, huh?
Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. I had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did, yes. It never would have been sent flying unless it was hit with something pretty solid. Mm-hmm. Oh, dearie me. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garrideb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garrideb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course.
Good Lord!
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1.
And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window on the Garrideb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back of the street below. Oh gosh! Oh dear! No!
Objection!
What are you gonna say, bud? What are you gonna say? Oh, he's so calm. He's so calm about this. Are you gonna throw it? A full-bodied theory. I'll give you that. Yeah, what are you gonna say, bud? A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged, to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friends, characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. A mother flippin' game theory. Joke's on us, this guy's Matt Pat's ancestor. The bottle I fear is corked. Because you see... Oh, buddy, it's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable... What?
Lord of Antiques, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified?
An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back. Oh, she was picking up the book. Like, it's not... Come on. Yes, in her... Oh, it's back on there.
Is this right, you silly little man?
Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. The knife that struck her had fallen from above. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. No, she was picking up the book that fell. It's as simple as that.
Border!
Quite right, you said it's exactly right. If the knife had fallen out from above, it would have struck...
Buddy, you gotta dodge.
It would have struck her on top of the head.
Well,
He's lost for words, look.
I knew it.
I never liked that theory in the first place.
I don't know what really did happen. Where am I? Where did you... I need to poop. I pray the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder.
If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. Buddy, she was picking up the book. It's so obvious. We were so close I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track, but now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and the theory will stand. Mr. Sato! You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there. Yeah, she was very clearly picking up the book, right? She was picking it up off the ground, and that's when it got her, right? The book was in her hand. Yeah, simple as that. It's so easy. It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. I'll fatal your fury, buddy. Just noticed he has his underwear showing. Oh, he objected while looking down. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying?
Counsel?
There's a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency, that can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. And I'm going to pause the game and save it so that I pick the right one. Like, I know which one I want to pick. I know what I want to say, but there's multiple pieces of evidence it could be under. We already have the answer.
Goodness!
Utter madness! Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
Okay, this is the last inconsistency, the final piece of the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... she was picking up the book. Yep, there we go. This, the fourth book found at the scene. It's the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
burnt book. Is that on Mr. Garrett's book?
Yes, and to understand... Oh, this song's good. And to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. The photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. As we all know, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. Yeah, because he said, but why when you place the book in the victim's hand? He's like, oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd be doing much of anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By Jingo! Get 4 of them and you can summon the king, Jingo. I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me!
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Gerardeb household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
Oh, the book I threw!
Yes, Miss Gerardeb. What do you think the woman did? What would you do? You're walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement.
Oh, well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have, well, maybe reached down and picked up the book up.
This looks like that one thing of like the bimbo picking up the book. You know what I mean, right? Kind of, you see that too? Okay. Some of you might be like, what the frick are you talking about? Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book and became not a bimbo.
Oh, heavens! Anything but an ex-bimbo.
Oh, it's fun to say bimbo in that voice. This is the most times I've said the word bimbo in a video, I swear to God. And I'm gonna try to not say it again. When the woman reached down to pick up the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Let's not use that word, please. Okay, alright. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, it's kind of silly looking, I'll be honest. The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Saseki Natsume.
Well, I never!
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
There never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. I better not hear a frickin' objection. You better not. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gerardeb.
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it would have been something like that.
Oh, there, old bean. Don't call her that. I feel so rude. Poor Miss Garrideb.
Of course, I never meant for anything of this sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw the book, and I threw the knife as well. John, dear.
It's all right, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry!
I like how no one... Oh, I was gonna say, I like how no one caught her. Oh, buddy, your knee. Buddy, your leg. Oh, he's trying. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay, old man Wilson on the side, are you gonna say we're good?
That was a funny show. Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb?
She's been taken to the infirmary. It appeared that today's events had left her especially in a flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern. She won't be lit on fire like the last guy.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily be rid of a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequence of their actions.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I've just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctors believe she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. How wonderful. This woman is out of danger, it seems. Yeah, that is good news. What if she just gets killed in the hospital right after this? That'd be wild. Like, that'd be insane, actually.
So, Mr. Saseki Natsume?
Yes.
On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, but have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh, no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Okay, bud, that's good. Let's just say thank you and leave the trial. Let's not go anywhere with this, please. Poor Saseki-san, his imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So, when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires, and for that, I am truly sorry. And everyone's just suddenly like, dang, wait, oh my god, Mr. Garrideb's in the seat now. But he's like, wow, dang, this was the guy we thought did it? If only we had him talk, we would have been fine.
One could say, indeed, that some sort of mischievous spirit had been at work here, I think, when they created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks, our young lawyer here from the East, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exercised? I heartily commend you both.
Oh,
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decision regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings?
I'm still waiting for a trial where just one of them's like, no, I'm racist. I'm never going to believe it. And it's like, goes to show the problem with the jury system.
Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare that the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
I was sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be.
Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? It's about time. I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Yuck, yuck, yuck. I'm so small.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. For Mr. Foreman.
Guilty.
Hey,
Not guilty.
nice.
Not guilty.
Sick.
Not guilty.
Okay,
Not guilty.
nice.
Not guilty.
Look at all those. Bop, 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 bop. I love the 3D audio on that. You probably won't get it much, but I will.
Very well, Mr. Sasaki Natsume. I hereby pronounce you not guilty.
Again, that is so dangerous to do indoors. It's like nightmares for me. I hate fireworks.
And finally, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, yes, Lord. Yes, sir.
You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture, and may you never again be brought before me.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. That was only 3.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Whew. Well, we did it. 20th of February, 3:17 p.m. We got the whole afternoon ahead of us. Let's go for drinks. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, Locum! It's not my name. Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? You're actually Japanese. Of everyone, you should have the least problem with this. Oh, at last, I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation. Any hearty happiness, hurrah! I'm pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard to just say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman is in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that! Lovely loyal Locum lawyer! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I've just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you Locum lawyer gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial, oh my god, that's a word, baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth, and when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. Oh, an anecdote? Is that what's all to become of my hard work here? There you are. There you are, my dear fellows. I knew it. I apologize for keeping you all waiting. I rose late this morning. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see him here not a moment too soon. A disaster's been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished, bro. What? No. That my haste was in vain.
Oh, it's you! Hairlock Sholmes!
Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming.
This is all your fault, Hairlock Sholmes! You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind.
My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to a hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir?
Nothing.
Priceless, oh. I'm sorry, really, I am, but, oh-ha, that was quite priceless. Poor Saseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And, it would seem, you were not even found guilty.
But there is no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper!
Lord Van Zeeks.
I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed!
It'll be all right, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. I got a frame 1 command throw. Hi-ya! Oh yeah, there it is. Yep, thank you. With a perfectly executed Sasato takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of a warning. Might be nice next time, Miss Sasato. Just a little one. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan?
Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh.
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here in the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Saseki-san. Could be an interesting read. Probably about a cat. And what about Mr. Sato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Yeah, what? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot? Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel like we finally have found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, windowless room.
Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling, and walls.
Great.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh, my, an evil it's gonna be the cat. Wait, is it the cat? Oh my god, if it's the cat.
Oh yes, it tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
Well, we'll think about it, if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. You sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes, I'll never turn down free food.
Wonderful, then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy.
Locum, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, too. It's a shame that we're gonna have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yeah, I'm sure. And hopefully by then I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Thank God for the Uber bird. So I was trying to make a joke about, like, he used Uber to get it, but then I thought he'd have to do, like, carrier pigeon, so I said the Uber bird. But I feel like if I don't explain that, nobody will get what I just said, you know? Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, Mr. Sholmes? I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Saseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, look at this little place. This ain't bad at all. The attic room, this ain't bad. Yeah, we can make this work. So this is to be our new home office. Yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh, whoa! Whoa! That's what you look like? I guess that's what you look like. You look so different. Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, thank you. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. He's gonna die or something. We have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid. Oh no, something's gonna happen. So, Miss Naruhodo, how does it feel? Have your own office in the capital. It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights casts the darkest of shadows. Yeah, he's doing it! I knew he was gonna say that. Oh, sick. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay beneath it. I swear to God, something's gonna happen to Soseki. Something's gonna happen to Soseki! Oh, it's gonna kill me! Something's gonna happen. He's just gonna be like out and about and he gets stabbed or something. No, he won't, because we know he lives. But someone's gonna stab around him and we're gonna have to protect his innocence again, I bet. Ugh. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. The Hound of the Baskervilles, that's a familiar name? I've heard of that case. Like, that's a real thing that I know of. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal had seen. Its eyes glowed with smoldering glaze. The whole of its oxized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Is it Barghest? God, the fact I'm doing this in Camelot in FGO is wild, because there's actually a lot of things that are kind of similar. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time for some more Let's Play. Ace Attorney. Great Ace Attorney, as we finish up the last case of the first game, which is the second. It's the halfway point of the game itself. We will see you guys next time for some more. Ciao.